Next, let's look at a journey to the West. Now we are in Canada. On the first day His Holiness arrived, he concluded an interview with a local Buddhist media outlet in the afternoon. His Holiness appeared a bit tired that day, but they pleaded earnestly and had waited for a long time, so he finally accepted the interview. At the time I thought it would be wonderful if His Holiness could say just a bit more. Initially, when His Holiness was outside, he seemed to be in high spirits. But after going inside, perhaps His Holiness fell ill there later. Though the outside world might not have known, maybe he caught a cold from the sea breeze or something. He felt a bit of discomfort. So, midway through, there were moments when His Holiness appeared somewhat uneasy. There are 20 questions here. We also had 20 questions when we were in France. Let's take a look at these 20 questions. At times they may seem like simple questions, but they actually carry very profound meanings. So for our Dharma friends, it is necessary when spreading the Dharma, if one feels reasonably confident, to accept interviews or answer questions from others. In this way, the process of answering many questions is also beneficial to others. The first question asked, Venerable Rinpoche, could you please introduce yourself? What is the reason that people address you as a Lama? They ask about all sorts of things. His Holiness replied, I was born in a place in the land of Tibet called Jime Cholhe. Many of our Dharma friends now often go on pilgrimage to that place. He said this is located in the present-day Qinghai province, and he now lives in Sertar, Sichuan. His Holiness said that Sertar wasn't that famous back then. Nowadays it seems Sertar is mentioned quite a lot in various media. It's quite well known. Sertar in Sichuan is where His Holiness resides. I have been studying and practicing Buddhism for many years, and was conferred the degree of Khenpo. According to the prophesied texts of some previous great masters, I have also gained the title of the reincarnation of Toten Lerab Lingpa. Since the person asked why he is called a Lama, His Holiness answered the question indirectly. All my efforts in this life have been devoted to spreading, practicing and carrying out the Dharma. This is what His Holiness has done, and as a result I have amassed a large number of diverse followers from different places. This is the reason for the title. Regarding why one is called a Lama or Yijin Nobu, the reasons are, one reason is his reincarnation lineage, and another is that the Guru has always been teaching, practicing, and upholding the Dharma. Many of our friends hold titles such as monks or nuns, lay practitioners, Dharma teachers, Khenpos, Khenmos or Geshes, and so on. Regarding these titles, one can reflect on them. His Holiness was saying, if you ask why I am such a teacher, it is because I do these things, and many disciples have drawn close to me. Perhaps that is the reason. This was his indirect way of explaining why he is called a teacher. This is something for everyone to consider. Then the second question asked, I've heard some of your incredible tales, such as how you've miraculously created your footprints into stone. Out of curiosity, I wonder if these stories are true. Westerners might find this hard to believe, so they asked if the footprints left in stone are real. His Holiness answered quite nonchalantly, yes, there have been such incidences. It happened a few times. He didn't say no, he basically gave an indirect acknowledgement. But he didn't say I relied on supernatural powers. He called it a coincidence. This way of answering is quite interesting. It probably gave the interviewer something to think about. What does it really mean? Can footprints really be left in stone by coincidence? It happened a few times. Indeed, in the biography of His Holiness, it occurred several times, including when he went to Samye, to Nyurong, and to Dofu. Several times, including when we returned from the US. That time it wasn't a footprint, it was a crystal he squeezed with his hand, things like that. The third question, what is the purpose of your visit to the West at this time? His Holiness replied, from what I've learned, Buddhism in the West is not as thriving as it is in the land of Tibet. So my primary motivation for coming here is to spread the Dharma and to benefit sentient beings. I hope I can make some contribution to people's peace and happiness. That is the primary goal. He didn't come for money, nor for sightseeing, nor for fame. So when our Dharma teachers go out, this is how it should be. What was the purpose of His Holiness going to the West? What is our purpose in going? Oh, because I've been to a certain country. It sounds very prestigious. I heard that place is fun. If I go there, I might obtain various benefits. If that's the case, our purpose is not clear. So I feel these questions might look very simple, but they actually apply to ourselves. If I go out, I later felt that indeed this was His Holiness's purpose in going to the West back then. So wherever we went later, we tried our best to keep this in mind. We cannot go just for fun or for sightseeing. That must not be the goal. One must focus on teaching the sutras and explaining the Dharma, or advocating for practice. Then they asked, what are your impressions of New York City? His Holiness said New York is the largest metropolis in the United States, and also the place of residence for the headquarters of the United Nations, with about 184 countries as members. Not only Americans live in New York, people of different backgrounds and nationalities congregate there as well. Additionally, New York has the second tallest skyscraper in the world. Later, the Twin Towers were gone. In New York, I saw many amazing things that I've never seen before, which made me feel delighted. His Holiness said he saw many things in New York. When he was there, the New York Times reported on some of his activities, including things related to our Larungar Academy. At that time, it was quite significant. I don't know about now. It seems among the three major newspapers, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Los Angeles Times, most now suggest the next U.S. president will be Trump. So it seems Harris might not have a chance. That's what they say. They argue about it every day. The whole world is watching. Many of our Dharma friends observe the mind, not external things. In the world, some people are watching what is happening between Israel and Iran. How many missiles were launched, what will happen between North and South Korea, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. By now, people seem tired of it and don't feel much anymore. But there are also China-US relations and so on. The whole world is commenting daily amidst the waves of discursive thoughts. Many of our Dharma teachers and practitioners within the ocean-like state of meditative stillness can manifest all kinds of worldly and transcendental merits. Those heart-delighting images are very beautiful. Maybe it's Trump is 78. In another 4 years, he'll be 82. Wow, it's hard to say. His opponents, including former President Obama, the current President Biden, and Clinton, are all calling out from behind the scenes. Beside Trump is Musk. Musk is using $1 million a day to entice people. So I don't know, I think people today probably like US dollars. Regardless, they get something in the moment, but perhaps things will change. I also pay some attention to it, perhaps because I lack the ability to observe the mind. I get distracted by external things. Question: why did you decide to visit Buddhist centers in Canada? They really ask everything. It is similar to my concern for wanting to go to the United States. I want to be of benefit to sentient beings and to spread the Buddhist doctrine here in Canada as well. At the same time, I am interested in seeing local cultures and the customs of different countries. So you might say I also came for sightseeing. In His Holiness's answer to them, there was still a bit of that. Next question: do you bring a certain message to people here in the West? His Holiness said, wherever I go, not just in the United States, but anywhere in the world, I hope to see whether I can make a positive impact on the lives of others by relying on the loving kindness and compassion I've developed over the years. Indeed, I think His Holiness's answer was very good. When speaking to Westerners, this way of speaking doesn't offend anyone else, and it refers to the compassion he has practiced throughout his life to see if he can bring some benefit. Moreover, Westerners especially like universal love and compassion. They like these things. Likewise, I hope you can do your best to benefit all sentient beings by following this sublime path that is peaceful and harmless. This alone is my wish and message for you. That is all. The teaching of His Holiness is, to my followers, this is my guidance, or it is my hope for you. Other than that, there is nothing. I remember back then there wasn't much else. His Holiness was very direct. As they kept asking, they might have gotten a bit tired. They asked again, when comparing the land of Tibet and the West, where is Buddhism more widespread? His Holiness said, in the land of Tibet, about 99% of the people show enthusiasm and great faith in the Dharma. Among those devotees, there are lay people and monastic practitioners, and the number of monastics is large. But are there still 99% of people now? It seems with the younger generation. Recently I learned about something. There's nothing we can't say at our academy, right? There were a few Tibetan thieves about 20 years old. They went to a shop in a nunnery. The first time they stole over 100,000 or so. Then they took it and went to Chengdu to enjoy themselves. When they came back, they went to steal again. As a result, a few formidable army managers caught them, 2 kids in their 20s. After they were caught, they started to snitch on the others. When they were brought out, among these Tibetan kids, some had yellow hair, some had green hair, and some had hair that was almost white. Only one had black hair. After much talk, one person said, "I didn't go to steal, I went into the monastery, but didn't want to steal." The other 2 or 3 started prying open the door of the monastery shop. Sometimes at the academy or elsewhere, these things happen. It's not something particularly unusual, but many Tibetan youths, after wandering outside for a while, have learned many worldly ways. Among that 99%, it's possible many no longer have faith. But among them, some say, "Oh, I won't go to steal from the academy's monasteries." Actually, this is not pleasant to talk about, but indeed, even at the academy, it wasn't people from the academy who were stealing, it was outsiders. Our relevant service departments should always be vigilant. Otherwise, sometimes the thieves of discursive thoughts from the outside will enter the treasure house of our minds. And there are those besides discursive thoughts, Tibetans or others, who might enter your room. There is that kind of danger. So sometimes we might face this situation. You see, back then His Holiness said 99%. Now, is it 90%? 95%? It seems there has been a sharp decline in recent years. Many Tibetan children now have no faith. We have encountered many people who have no faith. At that time, perhaps there really were 99% of the people. Comparatively, although Western countries are highly developed, Buddhism does not flourish there as it does in the snowland of Tibet. This is all true, isn't it? Tibet has so many monasteries and such. Another question, many Westerners spend a lot of time pursuing wealth. What do you think is a healthy attitude toward money? His Holiness replied, "In this world, what people cherish the most is their own life. So it is natural for people to accumulate wealth to seek a better life. If they can incorporate loving kindness and compassion in their process of making money, then they can gain material benefit while carrying out Buddhist spirit. This is beneficial from both material and spiritual aspects. But if with an unwholesome intent they have a vocation that harms others, then even if they are making money, it will not bring much benefit. This is about making money, how each of us makes money." Then they asked, "Could you please share your perspective on Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche?" His Holiness replied, "It seems that Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche was the first Tibetan Lama to come to the United States in this era. Going to the US, he was probably among that very first group. He employed 2 skillful means to spread the Dharma and help sentient beings. One is for those who do not want to follow the formal Buddhist path for the time being, so he would lead them to learn and engage in the Shambhala training. This is the expedient means he adopted to help these types of people. The other is for those who have faith in Buddhism and yearn to study the Dharma, so he would introduce them to the Buddhist doctrine. Of course, among those in the Shambhala training, the military training participants, there were also some who were devout Buddhists. These days, his groundbreaking activities equipped with these 2 unique techniques are more widely known than ever before. This is quite rare. They asked again, "Do you know about Christianity? What do you think of it?" His Holiness said, "According to what I've learned, Christianity promotes and practices universal kindness and love, which I think is very good." He didn't say he had deep knowledge, nor did he say he knew nothing. Because of the large number of Christians, His Holiness knew not to say anything negative. So their good qualities, compassion and universal love, are very good. Another question, compared to the East, how do you perceive the education of loving kindness in the West? His Holiness replied, although both share the same goal of benefiting sentient beings, they share roughly the same goal. They use a variety of methods to accomplish it, and their ways of performing these methods are different. Indeed, in the East, the concepts for doing charity, the concepts, methods and systems for doing charity are very different from those in the West. In the West, some are truly integrated into the Constitution. Some are already integrated into everyone's daily life. There are all kinds. However, as long as one is doing charity, it is much the same. Everyone's goal is to benefit sentient beings. That's the idea. Another question. In your opinion, will this center become the largest center of Buddhism? Then His Holiness replied. He didn't answer directly. That's up to the prophecies that other lamas have made before. Because we were at one of Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche's centers, and they were planning at the time among their centers in the US, Canada, the UK, the Netherlands, and so on, many of their centers to make this center in Canada their primary center. In the future, they wanted to build the world's largest Buddhist center, but at the time His Holiness probably felt it wouldn't necessarily become the largest center, So he didn't say no, but he didn't say yes either. That depends on your guru. It seems Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche had this idea before. He just referred to what Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche's prophecy might have been, especially your Lama. Their Lama was Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. However, yes, some of their publishers still do a very good job of publishing their guru's teachings. Still do a very good job, because for a teacher's wisdom to be preserved, it is closely related to his books and his wisdom. This is very much related. So Shambhala Publications is actually, up to now, primarily focused on Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche in the West, including Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche. The teachings of many masters are circulating well there. And these centers, up to now, many are still there. For the West, this is not easy at all. At that time, they really wanted to get a prophecy from Khenpo Rinpoche. In the future, your center will become perhaps the largest center in the world. That's what they thought. But at the time, His Holiness probably found it inconvenient and didn't really say much. Perhaps he saw what the future would be like. So His Holiness said back then, in particular your Lama must have said a few words in this regard. Other than that, I don't have any new or specific comments. His Holiness said, I don't have any other special recognition. All right, maybe we should stop here today.
Bandara